How about price controls tomorrow? Joining us is Art Laffer, former Reagan economist, E.J. Antoni, Heritage Foundation chief economist. Art Laffer, how about rent controls and utility rate controls? Isn't that a good idea? Democrats are running on that. Rent controls in New York, who knows where, and utility rate controls in New Jersey. Aren't those fabulous ideas? They might win too. That's what worries me.
Who knows if they can win, Larry? They're horrible ideas. They've been proven wrong over decades. And I don't know where these people come up with these old ideas that have never worked, but here they are. As Reagan said, here we go again.
What's wrong with rent controls, Arthur? What's wrong with rent controls? Sounds like a fabulous idea. I'm a renter, and my rent never goes up, for the next 100 years. Why is that bad?
Well, it's bad because there'll be no apartments left for anyone to rent other than you, Larry, and that's the real problem, is that no one will want to build the buildings and rent buildings when you can't make a return on them at a market rate of return. That's simply it. And you saw what happened when Milei eliminated rent controls in Buenos Aires, the rents came way down, and the apartments that came flooding on the rent and availability there. It was the perfect thing. The reverse was what the guys before had done. It just makes no sense, and it never has worked. The beautiful People's Republic of Santa Monica, if you'll remember that, with Ruth Yanata Goldway. I mean, she did the rent controls there. God, what a disaster that was. Well, here we go again.
E.J. Antoni, what's wrong with utility rate controls? You know what I mean? I mean, after all, Governor Murphy, who's a big greenie, Mickey Sherrill, who's the Democratic candidate for governor, she's a big greenie, Green New Deal, et cetera, et cetera. So they wanted windmills out in the ocean, and they didn't get windmills. They got dead whales on the beach. That's what they got, EJ, but she's going to try again.
Right, Larry, what could possibly go wrong if we mix the whole green political ideology with utilities? Well, you get rolling blackouts like you already have in California, for example. And also exactly what you and Dr. Laffer were just saying about setting prices on rents. If you set prices with utility companies, you'll get exactly the same thing. You're not going to be able to force a utility company to generate electricity and then sell it for less than the cost of generation. So you're going to see less energy production, not more. And if you want prices to come down, it's exactly the opposite of what you want. You want more price. You want more energy to be generated, so you have more supply. That puts downward pressure on price. That's just Econ 101.
The New York Sun wrote a good article on this, Arthur. There's 4 utility companies in New Jersey, okay? You put rent controls or price controls on their rates. So what happens? The shareholders, the investors. Now, the investors include pension funds, union pension funds that probably go Democrat all the time. So basically, utility rate controls will really damage Democrat constituencies, like pension funds. Nobody ever thinks about that.
Yeah, Gray Davis did it in California, if you'll remember. We kept the utility bills down in California there, and he ran out of money before we had enough done, and it went blackouts, as he said. Gray Davis lost his off. The only good consequence of rent controls and also utility controls, the only good consequence would be a complete flip of the government after it's put into place, and we get reasonable people who love free market economics. That's what happened in California.
EJ,
for a while, not for long.
EJ, last 30 seconds. How about Soviet supermarkets? Now, you want to bring those back? Soviet, the shelves were just full of green beans and corn and meat, right? Remember that? Oh, wait a second. I think I'm wrong, but you tell me. Soviet supermarkets. That's what Mandami wants.
Larry, see, this is where we need this entire generation of young people, in fact, probably 2 whole generations of people, to go back and to watch the videos of Soviet leaders coming here to the United States and seeing for the first time in their life what a capitalist system looks like, especially in terms of those supermarkets. And they looked around and they were absolutely amazed. They were stunned at the variety of consumer products that were available, all these fruits and vegetables, even things that weren't even in season, and that consumers could get them at affordable prices, exactly the opposite of the bread lines in a Soviet Union.
Those fruits and vegetables, they're all in New York now. The fruits and nuts and vegetables are all in New York. I fear they're all voting tomorrow. That's what worries me. But of course, the financial world has already moved out of New York. They're in Dallas. There's lots of stories today in the paper. I got to get out. We'll talk some more after this election is over. I hope the fruits and nuts stay home, and I hope the capitalists vote, but that's just me. Art Laffer, thank you.
Good luck
E.J.
on that one,
Antoni.
Larry.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Still working on it.